and Webb, I'm thinking Crawley at least was more competitive at times.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, I see where it's coming from. The only thing I worry about, and I've mentioned this for skill position players before, is sometimes if you leave them out in the fire to burn too much, instead of improving them, you smoke them out and then they're gone. And that's really one of the few things I can think of on it. It's not necessarily that I think Crawley has done bad, but as a rookie, here's a good example. Stanley Jean-Baptiste, in terms of measurables, height, speed, had everything that you wanted in a cornerback. But he was never able to translate that into his NFL career. And one of the reasons why is he was not a NFL-ready player coming out of college. He needed to sit, wait, and be worked on and trained. Now, he had to go into Rob Ryan, so maybe he didn't have the best teachers, whatever your argument needs to be. But he wasn't ready. Then he got thrown into the NFL, and having to fix yourself on the fly when you don't even have a full foundation to work off of is usually going to be more detrimental than it is going to be helpful. Right. So maybe that's the thing that they're doing with Ken Crawley. They're waiting. They're letting him sit in the back a little bit and just see what he progresses, or it could be something completely different. Maybe they aren't happy with what he's doing. I think he's doing pretty well, but also playing the outside corner role is different than playing, a nickel role or the intermediate route. So maybe they're just happy where they have him fit right now.
Good points. Good points. I was looking at the play count. Kenny Vaccaro played 100% of the defensive plays. Von Bell played 99%. Delvin, 99%. As well as Sterling Moore, 99% of the plays on Sunday. And that's a pretty high play count at 70. That meant the defense had these guys on the field a long time, as well as these guys were able to try to defend the Detroit Lions to the best of their abilities, but we still had some circumstances where the Saints defense let down. When they had a third, and I believe it was a 3rd and 12 or 13, and they allowed them to pick up the third down, and that really hurt the Saints' chances for getting the ball back and trying to be able to go down and drive and come closer to Detroit. Do you think the defensive play calls were pretty good on Sunday, Professor, from what you were able to tell from the video?
I didn't think the Saints defense played that great. They did good in the red zone, but everybody came out flat. Offense flat, the defense kind of was flat, the crowd was flat. I don't know if everybody was overstuffed with turkey or were they overstuffed from early Christmas parties. I don't know. Everybody came down flat. But what I did like about the defense is when they tightened up in the red zone and kept the Saints in the game. So it was just that I did not like which just happened because the Saints always seem to get burnt when they try to blitz because they don't have the speed. And there we did the blitz, and there we have them 60-something yarder to Tate. And I just think that, the Saints don't have the speed sometimes on a 3rd and 10. I'm not sure I'm going to blitz, but I understand it. So I'm not really upset because you can't let Matthew Stafford stay back there. But he already has a quick release anyway. So I'd rather take my chances on, well, he's back there and maybe I have 8 cornerbacks and safeties combined to cover the receivers because Matthew Stafford has a very quick release. And so, I think that was my only thing I remember saying, I don't know if I would have blitzed there on 3rd and 10. But it wasn't something where I'm very impressed with what, Dennis Allen. I don't have nothing but kudos and love for Dennis Allen, what I've seen him do, considering everything that he's going through. So you'd be very hard-pressed to get me to say anything about anybody on the Saints defense. My problem with the Saints is the Saints offense and their special teams.
Okay. Well, I guess I was the only one concerned when I saw Delvin Breaux playing 9 yards off. And like you said, knowing that Stafford had a quick release, playing to that level and allowing the wide receivers like Bolden and Tate to be able to get easy first downs. That was a concern to me. Now, when it comes to that type of technique, Deuce, you usually have a good way of analyzing this and helping the Who Dat Nation understand it. Why do our cornerbacks play off in such a deep fashion, especially on critical downs like a third down?
Well, I think what you have a lot of times now, it's changed a little bit because Dennis Allen is now our defensive coordinator, and we still do the 9-10 yards of space, but the reason that we're doing is different than when Rob Ryan did it. When Rob Ryan made our guys line up so far back, because Rob Ryan would deploy what's called a cover 1 or cover 3, which means he would have one safety in the back to guard the entire back of the field. And because we don't have elite corners, you had to back them up so that they couldn't just get ran past on a streak. And you've got people like Stafford with cannon arms throwing 80-yard bombs every third down. Now, in terms of right now, why I think we have Dennis Allen doing it, I think he's doing it simply because he doesn't have enough confidence, and in some cases rightly so, in the players that he has lined up on those outside. And that being like Bro, he's not the same player that he was last year when healthy. He doesn't have that same hip fluidity. His feet aren't as quick. You know, he's just not there yet. Maybe he's at 80% health. I don't know what percent he's at. I mean, the Saints certainly aren't going to tell us. And then guys like Sterling Moore and B.W. Webb are not an above-average corner. I mean, there's a reason they were on the market. I'm not saying they haven't done an admirable job filling in for the Saints, but they are not starter-quality corners. They are corners who are good enough to probably be number 3s and number 4s on other teams, but because of the Saints' injury situation, they are starters. And that's another reason. I mean, guys like Moore and Webb are great stories, but they don't have the fundamental techniques to succeed in a lot of ways with the things I was talking about, Bro being injured and hip fluidity and, you know, turning their head around to see the ball in air and being able to read things like, for example, Dennis Allen runs a lot of cover 2. So the corners have a specific zone they have to sit in. Linebackers have a zone. Safeties have a zone. The players that we have right now, if they were to line up close, I don't believe that one, Dennis Allen is confident enough, or two, that Moore and Webb have the ability to diagnose what the quarterback is doing. So with Drew Brees, you'll see him read routes and, you know, move a safety with his eyes. So the best way I can explain it that way is if you got Moore in a zone and he's lined up across from, say, T.Y. Hilton. Hilton can either run one of two routes. He's going to run a slant through your zone, or he's going to fly by you on a streak route, you know, and you've got to figure out which one to do and get around quick enough to make a play on either option. Well, because Sterling isn't an elite player like, say, a C.J. Harris for the Denver Broncos or an Aqib Talib, he's probably going to miss that. So you're going to have the opposing coach say, okay, T.Y., because he's lined up on the line of scrimmage, you're faster than him, you got better hips and foot movement, just run past him, run a streak, run a post route, you're going to be open. And so I think it's just simply we don't have the caliber of player to play that press man coverage that would let us succeed in doing more blitzes and doing more gap assignments from the front seven. Instead, we have to try to rely on zone and simply hope our guys can make a play. And we've seen it happen. Kenny Vaccaro has jumped a route and got an interception this year. Nathan Stupar has jumped a route in zone coverage and got an interception. But really, what it really comes down to is we're using zone not because Dennis Allen is just super zone heavy as a coach, but we just don't have the personnel talent-wise to run a myriad of fronts and cover every receiver confidently every play.
Wow. Definitely this has to be something that the Saints are going to address in either the draft or in free agency. I mean, it was very glaring. You can tell that some of the passes were going to go to Tate on the slant, Bolden on the slant, crossing route. There it is. So hopefully we can be able to get this corrected. And yeah, we really do need to have Delvin back 100%. I can tell he's not fully there as well. Hopefully we'll see some marked improvement over the next 4 games. But these guys are going to have to do a better job when it comes to facing a top-notch quarterback like Stafford. I know we have to face Winston. We have to face him twice, and then we have to face Matt Ryan and also Palmer. So we'll see how these guys are able to handle those things.
Kyle, I think this. I don't know if they can do this, but to build, repair the damage. Keenan Lewis is healthy. He's had a year off. I would go back the stats since we're still paying him, and I would bridge that whatever happened and even talk to him, because something that I think Deuce brought up last night on his show, we don't know what's going to happen with Damian Swan and P.J. Williams. We really don't. And I think that, like Deuce said, Keenan Lewis, to his own detriment, played hurt, which he should have just recovered, allowed himself to recover. And that's the same thing with Delvin, and the same thing even now with Tyron Armstead. They're trying to play while they're hurt, and they're doing more damage to their bodies. Football is a very violent sport. And so I would, bring the olive, as this thing, the olive bridge or whatever it's called, to, make amends and be like, Keenan, you had a year off. You should be totally healthy. Would you like to come back to the team? Since nobody has signed him or anything, or at least bring him back to training camp and take a look at him again, because you're still paying him. So, that's just me. Look, hey, Jari Evans left and came back and has played very, really great for us. So it's just a thought, because the cornerbacks coming out of college, and there's a few Marcus Peters and Barrett in San Diego, but expecting somebody to come out of college and just be, this is a showstopper, the chances of that are not that great, because it's just the learning curve. Deuce and I are in sync with that. The learning curve, it takes time for these guys to learn how to play professional football. You're not going to get somebody that's not even going to be coming right now and be better than, as you were saying, Kyle Crawley. Or, the people that think that have gained a lot of experience, Moore and Webb, for this year. So one good thing with having all these gentlemen is next year, the Saints will definitely have a lot of depth at cornerbacks. If Damian Swan and if P.J. Williams and Kyle Wilson return to the team.
Okay, good stuff, guys. All right, hey, what's going on, professional? Welcome to the show, Doc.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's been a while since we talked, man. How's everybody been over the past couple of weeks?
What's going on, brother?
Did y'all catch what I just did?
Yeah.
Y'all caught what I just did? See, it's been 2 weeks, and the Saints have been high and low, so I had to go high and low for y'all. So y'all know how I do. I always come on and I start off whatever. I always start off how the Saints have been since the last time we've been on. And they've been high one week and low the next week. So that's how I am today.
I was trying to figure out which type of high you're referring to.
No, it's just we're just talking about the pitch of my voice, man. Nothing else.
Okay, man. Well, it's good to have you, man. It's good to hear your voice. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about some injuries, man. We got some key injuries for the New Orleans Saints. Michael Thomas, he did not practice today due to a foot injury, and we still haven't had a true diagnosis of what's going on with Craig Robertson, other than they say it's just a shoulder injury. We don't know if that's going to keep him out of the game against the Buccaneers, and we know Josh Hill had a broken fibula, so he did not practice and will possibly be placed on IR. Thomas leads the Saints right now with 69 receptions. He leads the Saints in receiving yardage with 831, as well as 7 touchdowns. Which one of these two guys will be the bigger hit if the Saints can have Thomas and Robertson on Sunday?
I think Thomas. I mean, well, they both. I mean, it's about neck